everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In today's Halloween video, we are taking a look at a witch doctor werebeast. My original concept for this was to do a witch doctor frog, because I wanted to get away from that typical the werewolf kind of character, because you see that, everywhere. I didn't have a real good feel for a frog body, because everything I either saw was like super spindly, or the frog was wearing like complete clothing, like robes and stuff. I'm like, well, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something a little more like voodoo, witch doctor, kind of shamanic kind of character. So then I settled on the idea of doing an alligator, because that alligator I also thought was a little more menacing, a little more Halloween-y, fit into that aesthetic a lot better. I started sketching this guy out. It came together a lot easier than, let's say, the grudge piece that I did. Even though this took longer to do and there's a lot more details in it, I had a lot more fun working on it. I really didn't reference anything for this particular piece except for the staff. The staff I did have to look to try to figure out I wanted to do a skull on there. I wanted to do like a crocodile or an alligator skull, and I had really no idea what the skull of either of those creatures looked like. So I did have to reference that. As for the actual head of the character, that just drew that as what I kind of thought an alligator looked like. The same goes for the rest of the body. I really didn't reference anything. Anthropomorphic characters are not something that I have done a lot of, and up until maybe about a year ago, I'd never actually really drawn any or felt comfortable doing it, because I wasn't really comfortable doing people. If you are familiar with my work at all before, it was 99% dragons, and that's great, but I can draw dragons for days and dragons are easy. So that's why I started doing a monster field guide, because it opened me up to being able to do different types of characters, including humans, humanoids, different creatures I'd never heard of before. And it's been actually a great experience, because I'm getting outside of my comfort zones to do things I normally wouldn't do, though humanoid characters still take me longer to do. That's just bottom line. They're typically more detailed, and I got to take a little more time to get anatomy closer to what it should be. I know with a drawing you can kind of flub stuff a little bit, but I want things to not have that uncanny valley effect where things just look so off that it doesn't look quite right. So I have had people ask me in the past, how do you draw? How do you learn to draw? What's your secret? I always find this kind of a funny question, because you're gonna get the same answer from every single artist everywhere in the history of ever, and the answer to that is to just draw. There's no magic wand. There's no video you can just watch on YouTube and it instantly comes into your brain and downloads, and you can just draw hands super easy. Now, if you want to draw hands, you have to learn to draw hands. It's not the funnest thing in the world, but the only way to get better at something is to practice. So, unfortunately, there's no magic potion to get better at doing something. Now, in my experience growing up, I had a super supportive family. I wanted to do art, and they were super, super supportive of me. In fact, like, they told me that I was amazing and every piece I did was, and that was probably as damaging as a parent telling you, well, your work's crap. And I'll explain why. You see, I grew up with this false sense of my own worth, and that's gonna sound bad, but just hold on. The idea here is that I thought my stuff was amazing and that I didn't need to try. I didn't need to practice. I didn't need to work on hands. I didn't need to sit and draw faces, because my work was already great. So, because I also had teachers too who were just like, oh, your work is so amazing. And then, I didn't try. So I of course had this idea that like I was an amazing artist. And I mean, I was decent. I had some talent. But as far as like going back and looking at my old work, I didn't really have any grasp on the fundamentals, on, blood shadow or positioning or anatomy at all. My anatomy was awful. In that regard, like, as great as it was that my parents and my teachers and everyone was telling me how wonderful I was, I do think you need some constructive criticism. I'm actually gonna give everyone this advice that my dad gave me. It wasn't even advice, it was just something he told me when I was a kid. And when I was a kid, I took it really badly, and it upset me a lot. But as an adult, I understand what he meant by it. And what he said to me one day was, your work's great, but there'll always be someone better. And at the time, that was so insulting. I was so upset. I mean, that was just like, oh, my dad just told me my work, the other people are better than me. And, but now I'm looking back on it, and it's, as an artist, you do have to come to the realization that, yeah, there's definitely going to be people who are better than you. And you can either wallow in that and let that upset you, or you can embrace that and use that as a motivation to improve your own skills. Because I think any artist, even artists who are way better than you or way better than me, they're still learning. They're still improving their craft. There is never a point in any artist's life where they get to this plateau of perfection. Every artist is going to have issues with their work. Even if you have like this piece that it gets thousands of views and everyone says it's amazing, you're still sitting there nitpicking like the small blades of grass that aren't in the right positions, or the eye that just isn't the right height as the other eye. Do understand that even if you think another artist is way superior to you, they're still nitpicking their own work. The bottom line, practice, don't give up, and don't shoot yourself down. Don't go to another artist and say, I'll never be as good as you, or God, I'm never gonna be as popular as you. It's like, well, you gotta work at it. Nothing's handed to people on a silver platter. Everyone has to work, unless you're one of those rare few people who gets discovered on Instagram or whatnot. I actually find social media super hard. I do all the things that they suggest for you to do for social media, and I always seem to like only a few views on my stuff. So that's really discouraging, because I think my art's decent. And then it doesn't really get too many views, and then you're just like, well, does my work actually suck? So don't take social media too seriously either, because that can be really discouraging to yourself, because you're again basing your art on someone else's art, and you look at someone else's stuff and they're getting like 500 views and you're getting 20, and you know you spent like hours on this piece, and in their comments of this other picture, like, oh, I spent like 15 minutes on this is just a sketch I did, and it gets all these views, and it's like an apple. You never know what people are gonna like. I'm sorry I kind of went on a rambling tangent here. I hope you guys don't mind too much. I am going to probably cut it off here. But if you have any questions, or you'd like me to talk about specific things, I would be happy to get your feedback or to know what you'd like to hear from me about. So please hit that like button if you liked this video. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe. Through the month of October, I'm probably going to post almost every day. I did miss yesterday. But starting in November, I'll probably be posting 2 times a week. That way I can put up more quality videos. These are going to be maybe a little shorter or a little hacky. My voiceovers, I'm still kind of getting used to this. So if you're interested in following my work, you can follow me on DeviantArt at Mythka, or you can check me out at Studio Mythka on Instagram. Links are going to be in the description down below. So until next time, guys, have a very happy Halloween.